All right, this is going to double as the intro to the audio podcast, but also we're putting this on YouTube as well. And the reason is because the Valkyries just maybe their biggest win in franchise history here. You could say possibly the Las Vegas Aces. I would say beating Caitlin Clark's, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell's Indiana Fever team at home is the biggest win in Valkyries, the young Valkyries history here to push them to 6-6. And they did it with an insane fourth quarter where they outscored Indiana 33-18. And you think about being at home. There's a lot of hoopla around this game because of Caitlin Clark and how popular she is, how popular the Fever are. And they also are going to represent one of the teams in the Commissioner's Cup. So they've actually been playing really good basketball despite Caitlin being hurt. And the Valkyries upped the pressure. They played excellent defense. They forced the Fever into lots of turnovers and some really clutch shooting at the end there. As you will hear for the audio folks in the audio, the podcast that you will hear after this. But if you are on YouTube and checking us out, we just put up the 5th ever episode of Valks Valley, which is just search on this page and you'll see our entire podcast. But the Valkyries, after losing to Dallas, who are not a good team, they're a young team. Paige Beckers is really improving seemingly game by game. But they were just out rebounded. Obviously, they're without a lot of their players from because they went to Eurobasket. And Brian and I in the podcast were wondering, like, what do they do, knowing that Aaliyah Boston is a big and the Valkyries essentially run out Monique Billings, who's probably a better power forward than she is a center. Chloe Bibby showed out as a stretch big in this game. But the Valkyries were only out-rebounded by 3 rebounds, and they actually out-rebounded the Fever on the offensive boards 8-5. So they did a really, really good job of trying to make sure that they just were not getting out-rebounded in this game. They also really turned it up defensively. 10 steals to the Fever's 3, 5 blocks to the Fever's 3. And they turned the Fever over 17 times. Now, some of these turnovers were earlier in the game where Caitlin was throwing some errant passes, and they were a little bit ahead of her teammates. You see this often with Caitlin Clark. She'll throw a pass where she believes her players should be more so than they are, and that could cause a turnover. Valkyries also had 12 fast break points compared to the Fever's 6. Which is actually kind of interesting because the Fever themselves are the team that likes to play very, very fast. And the Valkyries have done this all year long, which is they've kept teams out of, not necessarily, they didn't keep the Fever out of the paint here. They did a good job at minimizing the Fever in the paint. Fever had 38 points in the paint to the Valkyries 34. And if we look at the individual statistics for the Valkyries, as has been the case for a lot of this season, especially late, Kayla Thornton leads the team in points scored with 16, also grabs a team high 6 boards, but they were team rebounding here. Every single player, except for one, and that was small-ish guard Carla Late, had at least 3 rebounds. So you're talking about Stephanie Talbot, who only played 15 minutes. You're talking about Chloe Bibby, Letitia Ami here. They all had 3 rebounds. Tiffany Hayes played 32 minutes, which might be her high of the season so far because she's been hurt. And also had a team high 5 assists, 14 points for Hayes. So probably her best game, I would say, so far this season. Also, everybody but one player, Stephanie Talbot, scored, so got in the box score with some points. Aerial Powers, Bree Hall, Caitlin Chen did not play, but the players who did, they ran 9 players deep. The least amount of minutes was Stephanie Talbot with 15, even though she did start. Ami here had 19 minutes and really maximized those minutes with 4 block shots. She's just got those really quick jumping skills where she can kind of get up and get her arms up really quickly. She's got the long arms and quick blocking players when they think they have easy opportunities to score. So the Valkyries also did a great job on Caitlin Clark. 0 for 7 from 3, 3 of 14 shooting. And she just didn't have a lot going on. Now, she did other things in this game. She had 11 points. She had 9 assists. She had 7 rebounds. But without her actually scoring the basketball, specifically from three-point land, they depended on some of the other players. Kelsey Mitchell was 6 of 11, 16 points. She played fine. She played a good game, but I think they needed her to really pick up that slack with Caitlin missing from deep. Aaliyah Boston, I mean, she's a big playing against a team that really doesn't have a center. 17 and 12 for her. She also had 5 fouls. That she and Kelsey Mitchell were in foul trouble a little bit in this game. And that was the story. Natasha Howard had 13, but the bench, the Valkyries bench outscored the Fever's bench. Let's see if I can do some quick math here. 45 to 17, which is insane if you think about it, especially because the Fever played 10 players and the Valkyries only played 9 themselves. So going to get out of here, and you can listen to the full audio podcast that Brian and I did earlier today. Or if you're on YouTube, you can check out the episode 5 of Valks Valley, where we recapped the week that was and also talked a little bit about Caitlin Clark and some of the skirmishes that she got into last weekend. But also, Valkyries kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit against Dallas, and that was coming after a fantastic game against Seattle. So, all right, that is it from here. And go ahead and check out the latest episode of Valks Valley on YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio side, here we go.